your moment. Don't tell me how bad you want it. Prove to yourself how bad you want it. Don't let nothing stop you. Don't let nothing get in your way. Every day you wake up, every day you breathe, you should be improving yourself. You should be taking steps to reach your destiny. Don't let nothing stop you. It's your moment. It's your time. How bad do you want it?
Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's your man Mike Bowens coming to you once again, live and direct from Unleashing the Creativity Within You. I got a powerful message for you today. This message is entitled Communicate Without Fighting. This is relationship advice. Man, listen. I don't know who on this planet doesn't go through issues with their spouse in terms of maybe disagreeing on something. Maybe it's money issues, maybe it's health issues, maybe it's not spending enough time, maybe it's intimacy issues. Whatever the case may be, we gotta learn how to communicate without fighting. Now, oftentimes, people try to act like, our relationship is perfect, nothing's wrong, everything's all good. And those are the people that, you ever seen that movie War of the Roses, that they throwing plates at each other. They trying to cut each other's heart out. But time to time, me and my wife, we may get into not arguments, but we may feel like you're on my last nerve right now. You're on my last nerve right now. But I have to say, the thing that we have learned to do is not fight when we communicate. I'm never going to be cursing at her and yelling at her, and she's never going to be cursing at me and yelling at me. There may be times where I may do something and it may rub her the wrong way, and vice versa. But it's still like, listen, we in this thing together, and we got to figure out how to coexist and be happy. Not just be together and miserable, and be happy and work through our issues, right? And so some of you probably saw the movie War Room. I just had a chance to see it. And it really just brought back to memory the basics on a relationship for me. And that is, instead of when my wife may do something that I disagree with, instead of always sitting her down to talk about it, I'm just going to go to the Lord in prayer and talk about it with the Lord, because He's the one that's ultimately going to fix it. Correct? Right? That makes sense to me. And vice versa. I hope that she prays for me. And so this message is for the fellas out there too. Sometimes you may feel like your wife is doing this and doing that, or this is even for the ladies too. That your man, whoever, is just getting on your last nerve. But let me ask you, how often do you pray for them? How often do you thank God for them? Because when we were single, man, you wanted to be married. You wanted to be in a relationship. And then when you get into it, sometimes you have those feelings of regretting that you was ever in it. But it shouldn't be. And so I really had, after watching the movie, it really struck a chord with me. Like, don't let the devil in your relationship. Don't let him in. Because that's exactly who's trying to get in your relationship. To cause you to argue, to cause you to be angry. When you get so angry, you feel in your throat and in your chest, it's just burning. You just want to tell them with everything that's in you, some good cuss words. I know. You just want to let it out. But that is not the way that we ought to handle the situation, because in our words, the Bible said that death and life is in the power of the tongue. So every time we say something, we're either giving out life or we're causing death to happen. Life to your relationship or death to your relationship. See, men and women, we're built differently. But we got to learn how to communicate without fighting and without getting all worked up and all upset. And for me, it's like, if I make a mistake, Lord Jesus, please just help me to own up to it. And I think in a relationship, we need to be honest. So many people wear masks and they don't want to say what's really bothering them. They don't really want to say it. So what will happen is one person will shut down. or two people are shut down. So you be in the car together and you could drive for 2 hours straight and nobody talks. You could be in the house and walk right past each other, nobody talks. And you're fighting though you're not communicating, because it's like, the heck with you, I don't want to deal with you, so I don't want to talk with you. Instead of, like I said, communicating without fighting. And so, taking it to God in prayer about what it is, that the issues that's in your relationship, so that, because He's the only one at the end of the day that can help make it better. Now, there's some things that you have to do, and I have to do, and your spouse has to do, right? But instead of constantly bickering and arguing about the same things, take it to the Lord in prayer. And when you communicate with your spouse, say it with love and gentleness. We don't got to be screaming and yelling at the top of our lungs and yelling at each other to get our point across, because anybody talks to me like that, I feel disrespected and I feel neglected and I feel like I don't need this in my life, right? And so vice versa, another person may feel that too. But one of the golden rules is to treat others how you want to be treated. Now, when you're in a relationship, let's not ever forget that just because you with somebody don't mean you could take them for granted and feel like, oh, they should understand. They should just understand how I feel because they've been with me. They should know me better than anybody else. So that gives us the right to scream, to cuss and holler? Or should we have patience with the person that we're with? We should have some patience. We should have some kindness, some gentleness, some love. And so, as I get ready to close out this message, I want to encourage folks out there, especially during the holiday season with all the pressures of life, right? To communicate without fighting. If need be, write down some things and talk about it. And don't be so defensive when you ask a question and then your spouse tells you or answers the question that you asked. My thing is, if you don't want to know, don't ask. But if you want to know, drop your guard and receive what's being spoken to you, so that you're not all upset, bitter, and bent out of shape, right? So this is your man, Mike Bowens, and I'm encouraging some couples out there today to communicate without fighting, right? And somehow you got to get it out, because if you let it build up, what you're doing, you're letting the anger go. You're letting the sun go down on your anger. You see, it's not coming from a person who thinks they got it all together. Because sometimes me and my wife get in disagreements, and I have to go to God in prayer and release that frustration that I'm feeling. And likewise, I'm sure she has to do the same, because we're two imperfect people serving the perfect God, coming together as one. So nobody's perfect. We got to remember that, and we all trying to grow into the maturity that God has called us to grow into. So I just want to encourage somebody out there. Don't give up on your relationship. Don't give up on each other. And don't give up on God. And don't give up on yourself. Until next time, be blessed.